Ukraine is offering to begin a new round of ceasefire talks with Russia next week. President Volodymyr Zelenskyy says he's ready to meet his Russian counterpart, Vladimir Putin, face-to-face. The Kremlin responded that Putin is prepared to discuss peace, but Russia hasn't changed its goals for Ukraine. The two countries have made little progress after 2 rounds of talks in Istanbul over the past 5 months.
Another day. Another wave of fierce Russian attacks on Ukraine. Early on Saturday, drones were unleashed on the Black Sea port of Odessa. And Pavlograd, a city in eastern Ukraine, suffered its biggest ever strike, enduring a 6-hour bombardment. The attacks followed a week of relative quiet, while President Trump's special envoy to Ukraine, General Keith Kellogg, was in Kyiv. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy is now urging Russia to return to ceasefire talks in the coming days.
A greater effort must be made toward negotiations. Everything must be done to achieve a ceasefire. The Russian side must stop avoiding decisions. Prisoners must be exchanged, children returned, and killings stopped. A meeting at the level of national leaders is needed to truly ensure peace, lasting peace.
Zelenskyy's proposals come just days after President Trump gave Moscow a 50-day ultimatum to agree to a ceasefire.
I want to stop the killing. I want the killing to stop in the Ukraine-Russia war. That's the side I'm on. Well, we're going to see what happens with President Putin. So far, I've been very disappointed with President Putin. I've solved a lot of wars in the last 3 months, but I haven't gotten this one yet.
Until that happens, Trump has promised Ukraine more weapons to continue the fight.
Well, let's go to Kyiv now, where DW correspondent Jan-Philipp Scholz is standing by for us. Jan-Philipp, great to see you. So President Zelenskyy has proposed these new talks, as we've mentioned, with Russia. What has Moscow's reaction been?
Well, from what we hear, there have been discussions between Russia's President Putin and Turkey's President Erdogan regarding such talks, but there haven't been any official reactions from Moscow yet. What is probably also worth mentioning is that the proposal comes just a few days after a visit of US Special Envoy Kellogg here in Kyiv, and just a few days after the famous 50-day deadline that President Trump gave President Putin regarding a possible peace deal. So there seems to be a new dynamic here regarding such talks.
Now, Jan-Philipp, this is all happening, of course, as the fighting continues. Russia reported further Ukrainian drone attacks on Moscow overnight. What's the latest you can tell us about that?
Russian officials say that around 20 Ukrainian drones have hit the region of Moscow. There are social media videos that show fires in suburbs of Moscow. We cannot verify the videos, and there have been no official reports regarding any casualties, regarding any injuries. But what we can say for sure is that there has been a temporary restriction on airports in the region of Moscow. Regarding the developments along the front lines in Ukraine, there haven't been a lot of changes. There have been some heavy Russian attacks, some heavy airstrikes on towns close to the front lines, but all in all, no major advances on either side.
Now, Jan-Philipp, Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine has turned increasingly into a drone war. The Ukrainian army also, though, has been using drones, and they've a scheme for every successful drone strike. Can you explain exactly what that is?
Yeah, it's a system in which soldiers can earn so-called E-points for killing an enemy or destroying infrastructure. And with these E-points, soldiers can go to a digital market and buy more equipment. It's a system that is quite controversial also here in Ukraine. Some people say it's a very interesting innovation and it helps soldiers to be motivated. On the other side, there are also a lot of critics that say that it is basically a gamification of the war and it contributes to a dehumanization of the enemy. Of course, it's easy to have these moral debates from a safe distance, but what is for sure is that this kind of trivialization of killings leaves some people quite uneasy.
All right, we're going to leave it there, Jan-Philipp, but it's great to get the latest on the ground there in Ukraine. DW correspondent Jan-Philipp Scholz in Kyiv for us. Thanks.